Buy-to-let, at least in my opinion, is your bread and butter. And if investing in property is your thing and creating long-term wealth is the goal, then you should definitely look at buy-to-lets. And one of the most common questions I get asked is, where should I invest? Well, luckily for you all, I'm going to run through 5 hotspots that I believe in 2021 could be great buy-to-let areas that you should consider, but of course research yourselves if you're ready to invest. Sound good? Let's go. What's going on everyone? My name is Aaron, aka The Anxious Investor, bringing you weekly videos to help you secure your first property and hopefully many more in the future without trying to sell you anything. In fact, the only thing I actually need from you guys is to like this video, which is free. So if that's not too much trouble, I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel, maybe consider subscribing, as I've got plenty more videos not only coming out but on the channel already. Anyways, let's get this list going. And what I will say and ask is, if you have a moment, is after seeing these 5 hotspots that I mentioned, is to let me know where you are investing, or if you're looking to invest in any of these areas. And of course, maybe help the viewers of this video about any other hotspots you may know about. So with that, let's jump on to number 5, Hull. Now if you watch my shorts video, I put this at number 3, but having done some more research into some buy-to-let hotspots, Hull kind of moved down the list and kind of fell at 5th place, which isn't a bad thing, because Hull from a short-term perspective offers great rental yields, which many reports have shown to achieve around the 9.2% mark, which is a pretty decent return, especially when given that once upon a time Hull kind of found itself into some articles maybe it didn't want to appear in, such as the crappiest or the worst towns in the UK. In fact, from 2005 all the way up to 2015, it made the top 10 list of the worst towns in the UK, which is why many of you may now be thinking, why the hell would this be a hotspot for 2021? Well, actually there's a few reasons. Other than the impressive yields that Hull boasts, which I mentioned a few moments ago, it doesn't have crazy prices. You see, the average national price in the UK is £230,000, give or take, and in Hull you'll find it around the £140,000 mark, which means getting a property that's cash flowing is a lot easier to acquire because the deposit is essentially less. And just very quickly, if you're sitting there taking notes, don't worry, I'm going to link all of the articles that I've used for the purpose of this video down below in the description, so you can find out and do your own research. But Hull in itself has some potentially good postcodes that if you're a buy-to-let investor, you should definitely assess. You got HU5, HU4 and HU8. And additionally, even just 2 weeks ago, there was news articles popped up about millions of pounds being put into the town to help with the regeneration and bring it back to life. And usually when money's being spent in towns, that's usually a good sign. Next up we have London. Now you're probably thinking, what the hell, right? London house prices are ridiculous. I'd have to agree. London house prices are crazy. However, there's a reason I wanted to throw London into this mix, and it's for those of you who invest for long-term capital appreciation rather than short-term cash flow. I feel that it would be unfair of me just to talk about buy-to-lets from a cash flow perspective and not look at the capital appreciation side. Now of course you won't get the yields that you'll get in Hull and other areas I'm going to mention on this video, but if you are one of those people who can buy a buy-to-let in London, which I appreciate isn't everyone due to the price and the amount of deposit that you require, then you're much more likely over the duration of owning that property going to benefit from a lot more capital appreciation. And this works exceptionally well for those people who don't want to just leave their money in the bank and want to put it in an asset to see it grow. Putting it into London will give you that capital appreciation, whereas when you're buying cheaper houses, you may not get that kind of growth. So in the grand scheme of things, this could bring you the most money over the long enough period of time. Now for many investors, I accept that our goal is to increase cash flow, but I know if I was enjoying my job in London that I had once upon a time and I was happy to work there maybe for the next 20 years, I'd have likely purchased something around those areas. I was living around Acton, Shepherd's Bush time, and I wish I just put one house there, because knowing that if I'd still stayed in my project management job in 20 years time, the amount of money I made off that would be a lot more than the buy-to-lets that I have today. So bearing that in mind, here's some areas, but again please do your own research. Dagenham and Barking have both been shown in many reports to show higher rental yields of around 5.3%, which for the London area is pretty decent. Moving on to number 3, York. Now reports from the Landlord News have predicted that Yorkshire and the Humber region will outperform the UK average house prices over the next 5 years. And alongside this, we also know that billions of pounds are being invested into the rail infrastructure, including the main HS2 stations and the Transpennine route between Manchester, Leeds and York, which means it fits nicely next to another area I'm going to mention in a moment. Now some useful statistics on York is that houses around the £150,000 mark have shown to give gross yields of just over 6%, which is pretty tidy. Next up, and finishing as runner-up, we have Manchester. Now, as a Manchester United fan, I was leaning towards putting us top of that list. But just as our season is going in football, currently I'll just leave us in at second. Now, boasting a population of over 500,000 and great transport links, and obviously the best football side in the world, with 5 universities, Manchester has affordable housing too. Numerous reports have shown Salford to be one of the best places to invest in, with house prices estimated around the £190,000 mark, renting at just over £1,100. Now, of course, to get better yields, going further out and getting those house prices slightly cheaper can increase your cash flow per month. And this is why there is such a huge privately rented sector within Manchester. In fact, reports have shown 30% of the people in Manchester are renting from landlords. And those landlords are getting great capital appreciation by getting around 4.1% year on year, which definitely beats the banks. So it's definitely worthy of a place at number 2, at least for now. Although next year we're hoping that Manchester can be number 1. That's Manchester United, by the way, not buy-to-lets. And finally, ironically, one of my favourite places to visit, we have Liverpool. Now, thankfully, Liverpool only remains top for the buy-to-let list and not the Premiership. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will be the last of the football talk for this video. But Liverpool is definitely number 1, at least in my opinion, for the number 1 hotspot for buy-to-lets. And this explains why there is such a buzz around the Northwest, which is catching the attention of many investors because they have some great areas. Now, doing some research, reports have shown that L1, 11, 2, 3, 6 and 4 are some of the great postcodes within Liverpool that you should be investing in. Now, as somebody who's not actually from Liverpool, that kind of makes me think, what other postcodes are left? But I'm sure there are some. But it's definitely promising. So if you are around those areas, please do some thorough research into where you're going to get yourself either the best yields or capital appreciation depending on your goals. And if I just break down some of those because, well, I've done the research for you anyway. L1, which is in the city centre, has shown to have some of the best returns for investors, with L11 and L6 still boasting some really respectable rental yields of 8.67 and 8.4% respectively. Also, something to add to the great yields as well in Liverpool is a great potential for future growth. There is a very ambitious regeneration scheme put into place for the city, with £1 billion estimated for new developments into the Knowledge Quarter and a further £250 million to be spent on the Liverpool roads and key routes. There's also 2 projects underway in the city centre as well, again adding to an already very popular area in our country. So with that, my friends, that is literally the list of the top 5 buy-to-let hotspot areas in 2021 that I personally think. Obviously, I'm still erring on the side of caution, as I mentioned in this video, with purchases this year, and I encourage you all to do the same. But if you are looking to invest this year, then maybe drop a comment down below about the areas maybe you're investing in, or whether you're actually looking into any of these 5. And of course, if you made it this far and you found any of this useful or made you smile along the way, although I don't think I was that funny in this video, then please do smash the like button, as it would be greatly appreciated. And once again, thank you all for taking time out of your day to watch this. I hope you have a great day, and now it's time to roll about 6 minutes of bloopers. Have a great day, guys. Anyway, let's get straight to this list that you're gonna get Now, of course, boasting respectable yet still boasting respectable. I just don't know how to talk.